first kitty cat sighting of the morning. This is a new one, I think. I thought it was Noble Lady, but this one, look at the spots down the back. That's so cool. Hi, good morning, Mal. Ni hao, Mal. Oh, and maybe it is Noble Lady. Look at the nose. Hi, are you looking for the cat food? It's over on the other side. It's good to see you this morning, though. I like how each of your toes has... It is Noble Lady! I like how each of her toes has like one little black dot on the back. What unique, beautiful markings. Oh, oh, look at her go. She's so pretty. Oh, what is she finding? I love watching them every morning. Being able to wake up and keep an eye out to see when the cats will come. Oh, what a beautiful cat, too. She's watching you, darling. Oh, gosh, she's so pretty. Hi, good morning. You're gorgeous, you know that? Hey, bird. It's nice to see you. It's gonna be really hot today, so be sure to check out the water if you need some, okay? I hope you have a good day. I'm really happy whenever I see you here. You're gonna be my buddy to keep me company when we get home, huh? Good morning, everyone. So today we are going on an adventure and I'm very excited because I am getting ready to slip back into finally being able to record and work on our main channel. I'm really looking forward to it, but there's a few things that we need to do before I'll be able to settle in at my new workspace and really settle down and start telling adventures for the main channel again. And those revolve around going to an electronics shop because Chips and I keep having a little bit of a fight over who gets to use the mouse. I brought a mouse, he thought he brought a mouse. We only have one mouse is the bottom line. So we're gonna go to a electronics plaza, which is like 6 to 11 stories of just electronic shops, and we're going to grab an Ethernet cable and a mouse and maybe a couple other things like extra batteries so that we can come home and I can have my workspace totally set up and ready to go, which makes me really happy. Definitely feeling anxious to get back to work, and I know I'll feel so much better once I sit down and record. It has been like one of the longest times ever since recording for the main channel, so I feel a little bit nervous, but I know I'm gonna feel fantastic once I just get in. I'll start with something really light like virtual families, and then we can start diving into niche and summer in space on the main channel, and I will feel so much better once I start getting my usual routines and my workflow down. So that's the plan for today. By the way, do you like my little owl necklace? My sister gave it to me years ago and I wanted to bring it for some good luck. And we're also hopefully going to be trying out a really delicious new vegan shop that our landlady actually told us about last night. She met with us and we're gonna get a second set of keys. I actually feel confident and safe enough to wander around the city by myself, at least the nearby neighborhood. So Chips, when he is busy or not home, right now I have to stay here because we only have one set of keys, but we're gonna get a second set of keys made, which means you guys and I may go on adventures on our own, and I'm pretty excited about that because I happen to know where some delicious food in the pet store happen to be. And then we're also going to today hopefully go and try out a place called Naked Foods, which is a vegan raw food restaurant that's kind of a little bit classy. A nice place to go for a fancy date is what our landlady said. And we're gonna go and try it out and see how it is and how the food there is. I'm really excited to share it with you guys because so many of you are super pumped to see more vegan food. And we might even go to the park, but it is 110 today, so 110 Fahrenheit. So we may have to see how that goes. But all right, Chips is ready to go and we're gonna have an adventure. Let's go, guys. So these are all the different bus routes, and we're gonna use my little easy card that we got when we went to the subway to jump onto one of these buses and hopefully take us to the electronics plaza. There's even fidget spinners. Oh my gosh, they've got Pandemic Legacy in Chinese over here. That's so cool. This is an entire section. Oh look, there's a panda, darling. What's it? Zoodalaro? There's an entire section of board games. That is so much fun. Okay, just for the record, Chips and I had no idea how fancy that place was when we went in. If we had known that we were going to stroll from a really busy department store looking for things like mouse pads and some Ethernet cable right into a 6-course meal, we probably would have felt a little bit different about our choice of a place to eat for the evening, but it turned out to be the perfect thing to do. I was pretty blown away, and I don't really like raw food. I am a happy vegan, but when you mix vegan and raw food together, you shrink your world down quite extremely. And so we were a little hesitant, but always willing to try new things, especially fancy vegan restaurants. And they are the very first raw vegan restaurant in all of Taiwan. And wow, it was really nice. Like, the ambiance was really nice. Walking up the stairs over this big pool of water, they have stone stairs that go over a pool of water that you walk up, and that's a really cool feeling as you go into the actual lounge, and it's beautiful. There's hanging globes of philodendrons everywhere. I don't know why I didn't think of doing that at home myself, just putting like a globe and then filling it with water and then having philodendron vines just grow out of it. Totally something I want to try to do when we go home. But the environment was just so soothing and relaxing, especially in the very hot, humid heat here in Taipei. And that was, the afternoon was really, really, really toasty. And we got off on the wrong bus stop a couple times, so we ended up walking a lot, which was fun to see. But everybody here has parasols, and I haven't had my parasol with me yet. I brought my umbrella, my cutest umbrella, with me to use as a parasol, and I really regret not having it because it was very toasty. But to walk from that really, really hot, humid environment down all these little alleyways, and then to turn and just out of the blue next to all of these apartment buildings, and in between all the motor cars and all the bikes and all of these trucks that are shimmying down one little lane roads, and just you turn and there's a fountain and there's steps, and you walk in and it's just green and peaceful and cool, and everybody spoke perfect English, like really perfect American English. So that was really cool. We sat down and it was very, very fancy. We picked out the afternoon set in order to have just a little taste of what they had to offer. And wow, the food. Like I said, I'm not really into raw food, and I've never had any meal that fancy in my life ever before, but I can see why people dedicate their entire lives to being foodies now. I kind of get it now. I think foodie is probably like the more casual phrase for people who usually eat at that level too. But it was really amazing. We got 2 afternoon sets, and he got the like raw cornbread dish, and I got something that was to do with oyster mushrooms, and it was really good. It was very, very good, but probably our favorite thing that we had there while we were dining on all of those really fancy dishes, I'm still kind of blown away just remembering it, but probably our favorite things was the cheese. The cheese was amazing, especially the blue cheese. We actually brought some home. You can buy some of the cheeses and the kimchi and things like that, and we bought some of the cheese because that blue cheese was amazing. It's made with almond milk that they put their homemade probiotic into, kind of like a kombucha probiotic, into the almond milk, and then they dehydrate it for like a month at just the low enough level that it can still ferment. And wow, I mean, they'll tell you. It was really cool because the owner came up and like talked us through the process. You get told how to eat. I've never been somewhere before. Have you guys ever been somewhere where they like tell you this is this dish, it's meant to be paired with this, and you eat it in this like in this pattern, and you want to balance the sweet and the savory? Like, it was really cool because the servers would explain every dish that she brought out and what it was and the chef's intentions and how you would eat the dish. And wow, when the first plate came out and it was on this tiny little like pineapple salsa, and it was like maple syrup ricotta or something like that, and when it was that, I realized we were definitely in for a different experience from what we normally have on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, that, and then when they brought out the watermelon, oh my gosh, the little like watermelon, fermented watermelon and tomato wrapped in cucumber, like a thin little sliver of cucumber to kind of hold it all together, and then garnished with a cashew cream cheese. And I'm like using words like garnished and palate, and we kept looking at each other like, what have we gotten into? But it was all very delicious, so we just kept going. The herbal water was actually really good too. It was like rosemary, and I'm not sure what else. I think it was actually just like different varieties of rosemary and a light mint. Listen to me, I sound so fancy talking about these things. That was in the herbal water, but that was really yummy. Oh my gosh. The whole experience took about 2 hours as well. And didn't expect that for lunch either. Definitely didn't want to go hungry. That could have been a little interesting, but it was not rushed. It was really amazing. It's what I hear when you read like fancy food blogs talking about eating out somewhere and how it like soothes the soul. I kind of get it. I always thought of soul food as, you know, like Cajun food or like, you know, mom's apple pie sort of food. But when we left, I felt so much calmer. As you guys know from yesterday's vlog, I was pretty ramped out yesterday. I wasn't feeling my best, and I was furious and upset and hurting for the people whose posters got totally messed up. And then I was excited to be out in the city, but I'm still not really familiar with the city, and I don't speak the language here, and I'm using a bus. I've never used a public bus before, other than like just getting to and from a couple spots in Ann Arbor. So I've never used a bus, and to use a bus alone is kind of like, whoa, I hope I don't get off at the wrong stop. I hope I remembered everything. But to use a bus in a foreign language, just try to get yourself to parts of town that have characters that you can't even read, that was pretty intimidating, and I was just very grateful because Chips guided me through the whole thing. But then to go into a department store and it's just surrounded by electronics, and that was really cool, but it was also a little bit busy and you're a little bit out of place because you're looking at everything and you can't read it. You can understand it, but it was a lot of just like sensory sort of overwhelming bits and pieces. Not totally overwhelming because it was very exciting, but just enough to kind of not really help come down from the ramped up feeling entirely. Then we went into Naked Foods. And then we had a 2-hour 6-course meal that we didn't know we were getting. I really thought it was going to be like a plate that they just put all the food on at once. So we completely didn't know what we were getting into at all. And then one plate comes out and we eat it really slowly because there's just a tiny little bit of food, so you eat it really, really slowly. Chips actually commented that by serving it in the little portions like that, it helped him to slow down. I'm the world's slowest eater in the world, so that's not a problem with me. But you do eat slower when they're just little portions like that, and you just kind of savor it. And to have them explain the food and be so proud of the food that they had created, and to be so excited to explain the details of how it was made and how they fermented this cheese in a dehydrator, and they dehydrate, like, it's because it's raw food to make like their pizza. It's dehydrated, not cooked, in order to preserve as much of the nutrients as possible. And I know there's actually a bit of science into that, but man, raw food's a whole nother it's a whole nother sphere from I'm just barely getting confident and happy in my vegan sphere. That's a whole nother ballpark over there. So it was really interesting. It was really calming too. Like I said, going to the department store, being on the buses, walking around and looking at the shops were really good and fun, but they didn't help to come down from being a little ramped up. Sitting down and having a 6-course meal in an environment that was so full of plants and gentle music, and pretty much you didn't hear like any Chinese except 1 or 2 little snippets. That was interesting. There were some gentlemen who were having a business meeting and he was speaking British English, and it was just everywhere. The servers even talking to each other were speaking American English, and so it was I guess kind of like, if you're looking for a spot where you can just completely unwind and you can have really delicious gourmet food, and you can also just kind of, it was like a place where the two elements could meet. That kind of foreign element that comes from America, comes from the concept of like raw vegan gourmet food, and then the local element of being in Taiwan kind of met, and so I could meet it halfway and understand a lot more and come down. Like who can't understand delicious food? That's really a unifier. And all of the plants, that was cool. And the little lounge they had, and I've never been somewhere where like the bathroom is a hidden wall that you push the wall in and then there's the bathroom, but you don't have a handle or anything. It's just like you push the wall and then there's the bathroom. So that was pretty cool. And the food was really great. The servers were amazing. It was definitely calming, and by the time we left I felt like I had had a really good mental massage. I felt a lot calmer, I felt a lot more balanced, I felt really just like you had been basking in a cool, beautiful garden, and that you had had good food that was totally different and really yummy. The agar and maple pancake at the end is what everybody so far has really liked the pictures of on Instagram. But it was agar, which is just like a little bit of seaweed extract mixed with maple syrup and then made into a pancake wrapped around some mint and some different berries and some cantaloupe, little balls of cantaloupe. And that was so fancy. And it was really good. I don't know if I would want to eat that more than maybe like once every now and then though, because that's definitely an experience. Like, you have to go in not just wanting to put food into your stomach and get on with your day. It's definitely somewhere I would go if I was having a bit of a rough, hard time and I had the time to just sit and unwind with really good company, really good food, and I wanted to come out feeling pretty peaceful and centered. That was pretty fun. And they were just so kind and proud of what they had created too. And I really loved my vanilla cheesecake. I had a raw vanilla cheesecake, which, how does that become raw and vegan? It's basically like usually cashew cheese or cashew milk is what people will use, or almond milk, and then you put it on a bed of usually dates, like chopped up dates, whatever they used. I think maybe oats were at the bottom too. It was amazing. It was really good. And then we also brought home some of the little rose bits and pieces. These are the rose macaroons. One has been consumed by chips. They probably are not our favorite things from there. I'm probably going to say that the kimchi soup that we had a little sampler of, they had just made it for the first time that day, and the cheese that and the vanilla raw vegan cheesecake were definitely my favorite things from there. I really liked it. It was interesting, because now that I'm thinking about it, I think, especially because I've been kind of overheated and overwhelmed, not in a bad way, just that's kind of where things were at, it was soothing and calming. And I'm really glad we went, because I feel so recentered and peaceful. And I wish there were more places you could go that were maybe not quite so fancy, that you could eat and that you could just relax at, that you could just be at and feel that. And I don't know, it was a good feeling. I kind of want to capture that feeling and figure out a way to make it happen back at my home. So that's one of my goals. And also, I want to just take one little nibble, because I've had plenty of snacks for the day, but I'm gonna have one little nibble of this rose macaroon just to let you guys know what I think of it. It is a raw chocolate and rose macaroon cake, and it has a real little rose petal on the top, so I'm gonna give it a nibble. It's pretty good. That's pretty good, and I don't even like chocolate. Wow, that's got like some really good cinnamon. I will say, for raw food, you can taste so much more of the spices and the flavors so much more powerfully, very richly. I really like that, actually. I think that's like the oat date thing that they put on the bottom of the cheesecake. That's pretty good. But alright, so yeah, that was my very first time eating at a fancy gourmet place. And Chips and I just went in our street clothes, carrying backpacks and bags from the department store, because we had no idea what we were walking into. But I'm really glad we went, and maybe that's part of the charm. Having a hot, kind of overheated few days, and then bumbling into a green sanctuary. Man, it would be really cool if I could make my channel and our community kind of like that for people. Because you just stumble on videos that we've done at random. So that would be a fun goal, to make it so that people could feel like they just walked into a green sanctuary and came out feeling a lot calmer and more centered, even if they didn't expect what they got. So that's a good thing. I think that's one of my new goals, is to seek out places that leave behind an impression of wanting to carry forward that emotion, whatever I felt there. Kind of like when we went to Pele. But alright, I'm gonna let you guys go and get ready. I have so much to start trying to do, but I'm gonna take it easy and just kind of cling to this relaxing atmosphere for a little bit longer, and probably rebuild that entire Naked Foods cafe in Sims 4 for sure, because that was really fun. And now I know how you serve fancy food like that, so I kind of want to rebuild it in Sims 4 now. So look out for that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.